Welcome to the Your Business on Purpose podcast, the ultimate resource for women business owners looking to confidently navigate their entrepreneurial journey while upholding their principles. I'm Dawnette Palmore, your host and fellow entrepreneur. Join me as we immerse ourselves in illuminating conversations with accomplished experts spanning various fields across the business spectrum. Together, we'll unearth strategic insights into seizing opportunities and ensuring that your business is equipped with the essential elements aligned with your purpose and values. Okay, let me ask you something. If someone audited your business tomorrow, would you know exactly where everything is? Your receipts, your contracts, your bank statements, your tax documents, or would you be digging through emails, screenshots, and old folders trying to piece it all together? And most business owners aren't disorganized because they don't care. They're disorganized because no one ever told them what actually matters. Welcome back to Your Business on Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Dawnette Palmore, and today we're talking about something very practical. What financial records you should actually be keeping as a business owner. Not everything, not a filing cabinet from 1998, just what matters. Keeping good records isn't about being perfect. I talked about this on episode 193. Nothing is ever about perfection, right? Because we're always a work in progress. We're always learning to do things better and better. It's record keeping, or when our records are clean, I should say. It reduces stress. It helps us to make better decisions. It avoids us succumbing to tax season, right? And it protects our business if questions ever come up. So I want to really simplify this for you and make it really nice and easy. And I know this can be an overwhelming topic. I know it could be overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, I got to keep paperwork. I got to keep this and that. And I actually just went through years and years of papers to get rid of many documents that I no longer needed. But here are the 5 categories of financial records that you need to keep. So let's make this simple. Income records, anything that shows how money comes into your business. So this can include invoices, payment confirmations, sales reports, deposit records, 1099s you receive. So if you're using things like Stripe, Square, QuickBooks, PayPal, you can download these reports monthly. So don't just assume they'll always be there for years and years because sometimes they don't. Sometimes they change their policies and they don't, I think the more information that we have, the less they're going to keep it for more years because servers get full and things like that, and it slows things down. So download the reports, print them. I print just about everything. I'm a printer. I like to see things. I still have a ton of business cards. It's how I find people. The digital cards just don't work with me unless I know you. I use these cards because then I can say, oh, I don't remember their name, but I can remember their card, and I start looking for it. And bam, I won't remember that in my phone. So anyways, and I know that sometimes QuickBooks actually lets you keep receipts in there. So confirmations, things like that, payment confirmations, you can keep in QuickBooks. And this, we don't want to keep track of revenue in our head, right? This is about documentation because if something happens, you have to prove it. And when it's up here in our head, we can't prove it, right? We have to prove it and we have to document things, especially if you're going to be selling your business and things like that. So another podcast, different day. The second thing you want to keep is your expense records. So this is where things can get a little messy, right? We could keep receipts. So what you should keep is receipts for business purchases, vendor invoices, subscription confirmations, software payments, contractor payments. And you can keep digital copies. That's perfectly fine. You can keep it wherever you want. You could burn it on a disk, a USB, whatever. You could have folders for it, or you could print it like I would. Or you can even, like I said, some of this also you can transfer into your accounting software. It lets you put receipts in there. I know I have an app on my phone and I take pictures of my receipts and then it downloads into the app itself on my desktop when I do my QuickBooks and reconcile everything. But keeping records is so important. And I'm going to tell you another reason why. Because it has proof, right? How many times, I'm trying to think a specific instance But record keeping is very, very important. I have won court cases with it, and I have clients that have won court cases with it. So documentation is very, very important. We want to keep it. So we don't need a shoebox of papers. We just need proof. That's it. Proof. Stuff gets lost. I know payments have gotten lost. People are like, you never paid me. And I'm like, I did pay you. Here's the receipt from my account. Now, whether it made it there or not is another issue. But like I said, I had proof that the payment did go out. So this is especially true for travel, meals, equipment, and large purchases. Because if we're ever asked to justify a deduction, we have to have documentation. So please, please make sure that you're documenting and you're following the guidelines, obviously for the IRS and the things like that when you're writing, when you have these tax deductions and things like that. Okay, number 3 is bank and credit card statements. Now, this is super simple but crucial. Okay, so keep monthly bank statements, keep monthly credit card statements, keep monthly loan statements, even if you're using bookkeeping software. I know that one time when we were purchasing a house, they wanted like 5 or 6 years of bank statements that I didn't have. I had to go back and get them. So if I would have just had them, I could have handed them over. And this was before we had, where we could just download it. But again, like I said, sometimes they may not keep this for years. So we want to make sure that we have the documentation printed. This is also good, because credit card statements too, same thing. They're not going to keep that information forever on their server. We want to download it and have a physical copy of some of this stuff. And especially, even our loan statements, because statements are official records. So we want to have that. Things can come into question. We want to have those official records, okay? So the official records protect you if there's fraud, if there's a dispute, or your books ever need to be reviewed. Very, very important. The longer, I guess I should say, that I'm a business owner, the more that I talk about this, the more important I understand how much documentation is important and how much we should be doing. Because really, it's all we have if something was to happen is documentation. They don't take our word for it. Yeah, we need to document it. So tax documents is number 4 that you need to keep. Filed tax returns, and you keep them for at least 7 years. At least 7 years. 1099s that you've issued, 1096 forms, W-9s from contractors, payroll tax filings, sales tax filings. So tax season should not feel like detective work, right? When we keep all these things organized through the year, when March, April come in, because March is a tax month if you're a corporation. March, April feels much calmer, right? So just keep all these things. Like you can keep it in your calendar like, oh my gosh, it's the first of the week of the year. I need to get all these things in order for my taxes. And I would say delegate as much as you can. I don't even mess with filing payroll taxes. I don't mess with trying to file my own taxes. If I had sales taxes, I would have somebody else file that because it could be very complicated. It stressed me out when I had to do it, so I just delegated it, and now I don't have issues with it. If there's an issue, they're going to answer for it. If it's a mistake on my part, they're going to let me know that too, and then we're going to fix it. Okay, the 5th thing that you need to keep is legal and protection documents. So this is the category a lot of people forget, but things like business formation documents, operating agreements, insurance policies, contracts with clients, contractor agreements, lease agreements, all these types of legal and protection documents you need to be keeping. I go back and reference things all the time with these different things I've printed, and they are also considered financial documents. So we want to make sure that we're keeping these because we need to go back and reference them sometimes. And they could affect our liability and, of course, our money. So again, you want to make sure you have lots of documentation. I know that it could be a pain in the neck, a pain in the butt, whatever, but it's very, very important because it's about protecting yourself. It's about recording. It's about having information available. If something was to ever happen, you could easily find it. And there's some things that I honestly don't ever put in a file box. It stays in my file cabinet so that I have access to it all the time. Because sometimes we get lost, like business formation documents. I would get lost trying to remember what year I filed that in and try to go find the box for it. So I just keep that with me in case there's ever a question in my regular filing cabinet. So how long should we keep these things? That's probably the question you're asking. My gosh, how much paperwork should I be keeping? But there's a simple rule, right? Tax returns and supporting documents should be at least 7 years. Bank statements, 7 years. Contracts and formation documents permanently. Don't ever get rid of those. I actually made a mistake of throwing out a life insurance policy that I canceled, and I actually needed it to prove something and to look at something, and I shredded it. I didn't throw it out, I shredded it. That was bad on my part. But that's the reason why we keep those things, right? Receipts. Keep receipts 3 to 7 years, but I would always just say stay on the safe side and just say 7. If you're going to keep all the other stuff for 7 years, you might as well keep the rest of it for 7 years, except for contracts and formations documents, because that's permanent. You always want to keep those, even after 7 years, because you never know when someone's going to come out of the woodwork. If you want to simplify everything, you can keep digital copies of everything and back them up. Even if you want to keep it past 7 years, you can keep digital copies. I know that there's companies that you can give that to and they'll keep digital copies for you. So there's a lot of options. You could do cloud storage, external drives. You can organize folders by years. There's so many things that you can do, and you don't have to make it complicated. Just make it consistent. That's all, right? Because when your records are organized, you make faster decisions. You feel more in control. It reduces anxiety. So think about, like, I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, something happened. I need to find that document. Where is it? Oh my gosh, what year? Da, da, da. Oh, okay. Well, that's something in my permanent file. So I'm keeping that. Or that happened in this year. It relieves so much stress. It relieves so much anxiety. It also protects our business. And that's important, right? And it helps us to walk into tax meetings prepared instead of embarrassed and stressed out. I've walked into those meetings many, many times embarrassed and stressed out. So financial organization is not about impressing your accountant. That's not why we're doing any of this. It's really about running your business like a business, like it matters, because it does. It's about running your business with clarity, with documentation. It's part of financial health, which we talked about in episode 193, being financially healthy. This is a part of being financially healthy, having your documentation in order. So if this episode made you realize your records might be a little scattered, you're not alone. Most business owners were never taught what to keep or why, and I've been there, done that. And if you want a clearer understanding of how financial systems should actually work, including what reports matter and how to build stability, I have a free resource for you. It's my ebook called Financial Literacy for Business Owners. And inside of it, I break down the reports you should understand, how to think about profit, how to plan for taxes, and how to build financial clarity without overwhelm. It's practical, it's simple, and it will help you stop guessing. You can download it by using the link in the show notes. That would be the perfect place for you to start, because organizing our records, again, we're not here to be perfect. We're just here to protect what we're building. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time on Your Business on Purpose podcast. This podcast is dedicated to you and all the incredible women out there breaking chains, pushing through, and striving to make it all work. Your support truly means the world to me. Could you do me a favor? Be a gem and leave a review. It will help us reach even more women, making a bigger impact. Your feedback is invaluable, and I would genuinely appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, ensuring you never miss an episode. Until next week, live a purposeful life in both your business and your finances.